Hey there guys! I have not talked to you in so long, it seems like. The videos we've put out recently, I just feel like they haven't been our normal style of videos. And this is gonna be a garden tour, so it's not technically like our weekly vlog, but I miss filming. That's what we're doing. We're gonna do a late August garden tour for you. Everything's pretty crispy. I got a little sunburnt today. I am very sweaty right now. We've been out in the garden all day long and the sun's finally just going behind the trees. We've had a very hot couple of weeks. We haven't had any rain recently. It's just been very hot. On top of that, if you guys watched our last video, we got married. Thank you guys for all of the congratulations. We really appreciate it. It was a surprise to most people. We kind of just kept it on the down low and made it special just for us. We had some friends from down here come take photos for us, and my best friend, and Taylor's also one of his best friends, she officiated the ceremony for us. So it was a really, really intimate little gathering and we enjoyed it a lot. Enough talking about that. Let's get to talking about the garden. Our cosmos have really taken off. We let the chickens free range earlier and they kind of trampled some of them, but they had a good time, so I'm okay with it. But they're taller than me. So this is kind of what I was hoping these beds would do. It's not as prolific, but they are still beautiful. I need to like tie them up at some point. Next year I'll do that. These are just so pretty. These ones are my favorite. Back here, you can see there are two beds that are kind of empty. I cleared these out a little while ago. It was probably at least a few weeks ago at this point. This past month has been insane. Taylor was gone and then we both got really sick for like over a week, and then the wedding stuff, and yeah. These are supposed to be green beans, and the only place that I could buy like the bulk seed that I wanted was Amazon. And as you can see, there's just really spotty germination on these. So I'll probably try replanting more. The grass is already taking that bed over again. I need to come weed this tomorrow. And I have planted summer squash of different kinds in the corner of every single bed because we love summer squash and zucchini, and we got like 5 total this year because the vine borers just killed everything as soon as it started growing. So I'm really, really hoping that if I can put some diatomaceous earth out like on them and like try my best to keep up on them, they will let us get a little bit of squash for fall. We've also cleared out some other beds. This bed is doing really well. This is all lima beans, more edamame, and a couple of other types of beans. I think it's maybe some green beans. That is corn. It's like a 70-day corn. So we'll see if we have enough time. I planted it where it actually will get watered this time. Well, that corn is on that side of this trellis, and I also have this entire bed planted with corn. This bed is like a hodgepodge of things, and that one is going to be more potatoes, which I have in the basement right now. They're chitting. I actually probably need to get them out here tomorrow if I can. But again, this is more squash, a bunch of green beans again, and then we did some experimental stuff over here. I think I have some like beets and rutabagas that I planted in here, and just some other stuff that I honestly don't remember. That's bright. I need to go in a shade spot. This bed behind me, I actually need to cover up with one of our tarps. It's going to be one of our garlic beds. We decided we're going to do garlic and like shallots and that kind of stuff on the sides of these trellises this year because I just like the idea of how it's going to look in the spring. It'll be nice and green and lush, and I don't have to wait for my tunnel to look pretty. Right now, honestly, the tunnel was doing really well before the last week or so. It is mega crispy with a lot of bugs. The bugs have really outdone themselves. I didn't expect this much bug pressure our first year in the garden. I was very wrong. So we're gonna have to address that for future years, and I'm hoping that the chickens and the ducks will help with that tremendously. We'll see. Honestly, we've gotten more than enough cucumbers off of these. Like I do still want to make sweet pickles, which I need to find a recipe for like the cinnamon ones. I really love sweet gherkins and I would like at least a few jars of them. But we've gotten more than enough off of these plants. They're just really suffering with the lack of water right now. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a squash bug on there. I think that's a squash bug. Okay, so here's a good example. Not all of them are this bad. Every cucumber I've pulled out of here the last couple days has these little holes in it and ends up having like caterpillar worm things in them. So the chickens have been loving those. It kind of sucks that like we're not getting the cucumbers, but at the same time we have had kind of like our fill of them. Like we've had more than we need for making all of our pickle products for the year, besides those sweet pickles. And I did plant a few more cucumber plants. So I am more than happy to give all of these to the chickens with a little extra worm snack inside. They're really enjoying it. The 3 pests we've been dealing with the most this year are, the first one was the vine borers for all of our squash. They had decimated everything. Like it literally got going and immediately died because of them. And we were so busy this year I wasn't able to keep on top of pest control. Maybe next year. I'd like to say that we're going to, but we're just going to keep trying and we'll improve every year, I'm sure. The second one was bean beetles. I think they're like Mexican bean beetles is what it says when I look them up online. Those just like destroyed all of our green bean plants. We got almost no green beans. We got fresh, like some for fresh eating, but I wasn't able to can or freeze any. So that sucks. But I planted a bunch more and I'm going to replant some of those ones that didn't come up. So I'm hoping for a fall crop of green beans. And if not, we'll just go to the local farm store. They have bushels of them of the exact kind that we're trying to grow. And I can just can or freeze those. Not a big deal. I'm still irritated with the bugs though. And then the third one has been the leaf-footed bugs. They're all over our tomatoes. All like the last month, all of our tomatoes have just had like the little tiny babies and the big ones. They look like stink bugs, but they're leaf-footed bugs. They're so annoying. They like swarm you. The next thing I want to show you is our loofah trellis. This thing has been going crazy all summer long. It's amazing. It's really beautiful. Honestly, like I don't even care if we got any loofahs off of it. Look how cool that looks. It's like a portal. It smells like burnt popcorn. I've heard a lot of people say that like it's stinky. And it is kind of stinky, but it smells like burnt popcorn to me, like specifically. So when we left for our wedding, there was not a single loofah on here. And we came back like 2 days later and there are so many, I can't even count them. These things are massive and they're everywhere. I walked in here earlier and I almost stepped on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Just like on the ground casually in here, and they weren't here a couple days ago. I'll try and get this one out for you. Yeah, that one's definitely the biggest one so far. I can't even get it all in the frame. Honestly, we might not even have to grow that next year, but I might grow it just for fun. I'm gonna look at it and see. I think you could probably feed extras of these to the chickens and the ducks. We'll look it up and see. I'm not 100% sure about that. I assume you can because I know you can eat them when they're young. Honestly, we probably have way too many of these. I really want to try and make soap, but I want to make it like submerge the loofah sponge cuts, like the cut up loofah sponge inside of the soap when I make it so that it's like a soapy scrubby. I think that would be really cool. I've never made soap before, so we'll see how that goes. That's probably going to be a winter project we attempt. I just think that would be really cool, and we already use bar soap in like little Cecil bags, so I might just like try and hang like use like twine or something to hold them. I don't know. I have a lot of plans. We'll see if it happens. We have all of these peppers that are still just doing their thing out here. A lot of them aren't ripe yet, and we've picked tons already, so these are like the second and third flush of them. But I come out and pick pecker. I've been doing things for too long today. I can't talk anymore. I've been picking peppers every single day, and there's always more peppers to pick out here. They are a little thirsty right now because we haven't gotten any rain, and I've been horrible about watering. I'm trying to get back into the habit of it. I was really, really good about it the first half of the summer. This last month or so, haven't watered at all. It's completely my fault. It's hard to see these. They're quite decimated. You can see like they're barely holding on. The leaf-footed bugs absolutely destroyed these things. These are all of the extra tomatoes that we had. They demolished them. The brightest side of this whole garden situation right now is our flowers are going crazy and they're so pretty. I love zinnias so much. They're just like vivid and beautiful. We planted a bunch of different kinds out here, and ignore all of that. That needs to get mowed and weed whacked. We planted all these flowers in this bed along the edge of the garden, and then it rained for 4 days, and we thought all the seed washed away. Turns out once we mulched it and put all of our asparagus plants in here and like strawberry plants, all of the zinnias started to pop up. So these are all zinnias throughout here, like mixed in. This is the asparagus. You can see all of these zinnia plants popped up. So all they needed apparently was some mulch. I feel like that's a life motto, or at least a garden one. All it needs is a little mulch. But we have cosmos and zinnias coming up in here too. Our asparagus fronds are so pretty and they're massive. They're flopping over. Again, we haven't been out here a ton, so everything's really overgrown. All of our strawberries in the hugelkultur bed are taking over, which is great. Apparently I think these are dahlias. I apparently put dahlias in here and I didn't know it, which is really cool. Look how pretty those are. I think they're dahlias from seed. I'll definitely be saving the tubers from these if I can, because I actually really like how those look. We have a bunch of green onions in here from our walking onions. I need to harvest those. Lemon balm. More dahlias from seed. This was really pretty. It's kind of crispy now. And this thing is loaded. It's really hard to tell what's what on camera. I'm not even gonna try and point it all out because it's a lot, but I'll show you a couple things. Pineapple sage. We have this little Thai chili pepper plant. You can see there are peppers on it. I don't know if this is like a squash or a pumpkin that I popped in here, but it's kind of growing crazy. Oh, look, I think it's a squash. Maybe we will harvest some squash, you guys. These are all raspberries that won't stay out of this bed. We have lavender in here. Let's just step back and look at this wild, crazy mess. I know you can't see it, but wow, it's a lot. There's a lot of food in there though, and it's mostly herbs and stuff, but a lot of good stuff. We have a bunch of birdhouse gourds in here. You can see those all over the place. This is our watermelon and cantaloupe patch. It's very taken over by weeds, as is everything else. But we've actually harvested quite a few little melons out of here. And there are some that are still growing. Honestly, next year, I think I'm going to use like weed fabric in part of the garden next year, just to make it a little bit easier on me for keeping up with weeds. I think eventually my goal is to kind of try and switch to like no-till methods, but that just requires a lot of input as far as like mulching or straw or whatever you want to use. I have not found a local source of straw that's not sprayed yet. I've been actively looking. So if you're in the Asheville area, let me know if you know of anywhere to get straw that's not sprayed. It doesn't even have to be like certified organic or anything. I just need unsprayed straw or hay. I don't even care if it's hay. I'll rip out the weeds. I do not care. We're planning to use like hay or straw as bedding for our chicken coop. So I'm hoping that they can like turn that into compost for us. But I would like to get unsprayed for that specific purpose, so I can pull it out and let them compost it for us and put that in the garden without worrying about it. So I've been trying to figure that out, but I think partial weed fabric for next year on like some of the beds, because it's just too much to manage for me with a full-time job and everything else we're doing. I want to try and make my life a little bit easier next year, go with some weed fabric, slowly start making the transition to no-till and like the beds that don't have the weed fabric in them. We'll see how that goes. Guys, it is a wild mess out here, but it's just so pretty still. Like there's something magical about it to me. More zinnias. Our marigolds are insane, and the bees have been really loving this Tulsi. I've just kind of let it go to seed. They've been all over this. Our tomato plants are pretty crispy at this point. I stopped pruning them after a while because we got so busy. but they're still producing. So I'm still out here every single day picking these to make sure that the leaf-footed bugs aren't just like absolutely destroying them. That's an actual stink bug, I think. But there have been quite a few that I've harvested. Leaf-footed bugs. They're all over them. There have been quite a few that I've harvested that have been like completely munched on, which I think is actually from hornworms. I just don't have a little black light and I'm horrible at finding them. And honestly, it's just not in my, I don't have time to do that. So sacrificing the tomatoes, they're still producing, like there's still a lot of tomatoes out here and I'm still picking a handful or a shirtful at least every single day, which I'm cool with. I filled up our entire freezer twice with them, which is really cool. More than I expected to get this year. In case you're wondering, this is what the leaf-footed bugs look like. Oh, they like to get right up in your space. But they like stick their little things in your tomatoes and slurp out all the good stuff. And they leave little holes on them, which I honestly, if it's just like that stuff, I'll still use them and just cut out any bad parts. They like to leave a lot of little holes all over them. Marigold field number 2. I like to pop these off once they start going out and throw them in the pool, and the ducks love to chase them and swim after them in the pool. It's really cute. Okay, look at this. This is what I'm talking about. Look at these things. They're literally all over it. This last bed right here is like our extra peppers, extra tomatoes. Again, it's like the same situation as all of the rest of those plants. They need water. I just watered everything tonight, so I'm not neglecting it that much. But the leaf-footed bugs have taken over the tomatillos as well, and everything's just kind of on its way out, which is fine because honestly, I'm like ready for a break. I'm ready for a break in the heat. I'm ready for cool weather. And I'm ready to start inside projects again. I'm honestly just exhausted this year. The summer has flown by and it feels like I've done way more than I planned on doing and somehow not enough. We are still getting a lot of fruit off of these. And I love giving these to the chickens as snacks. They adore them. They're like the little tiny Tessa's Landrace currant tomatoes. Pretty much the whole garden. Like I said, the squashes and pumpkins and stuff, they are on their own. The vine borers just kind of attacked everything, and I was like, you know what? Those are yours. We'll try again next year. And that's the plan. We're just gonna keep trying and see what works, see what doesn't, and adapt from there. That is the August garden here at Calico Cow Acres, and it's kind of a hot mess, but also I'm also kind of just like ready to let nature have it. It's kind of already taking over and I'm okay with that. I hope you enjoyed that tour and I am so excited. We are gonna finally get back to our normal vlogging schedule tomorrow. We're gonna start filming again. It's been literally over a month since we filmed normal videos and I'm just like ready to get back to it, get back to creating, get back to normal life now that things have settled down a little bit, and get back to sharing things with you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.